each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, what's going on, friends? In this video, I'm going to show you what I do to my boat to either get it ready for storage or, if you want to call it, winterizing it. Like up north here, it gets cold. I'm not taking my jet boat out in the water when it's 10 degrees outside, so I'll go over all my steps, and some of the stuff that I have here I'll put down in the description. I'm going to fog my engine, stabilize my fuel, use this grease right here to grease some of my fittings. Then we're going to unhook my batteries and cover, clean the boat. Just follow along and hopefully this video will help you out. All right, let's get started. All right, first thing I do is fill up my fuel tank. Now I have a 19-gallon fuel tank. I don't know what you have in your boat if it's smaller, but I like to fill it completely up, and then I just put some stabilizer in it. Whatever kind of stabilizer you want to use. I use this sea foam. Just make sure you read your stabilizer bottle and put the correct amount in your fuel. If you're using this sea foam, it's 1 ounce per gallon. So when I get that filled up and I put the 1 ounce per gallon in there, I try to do that at the gas station, put this in at the gas station, and then when I'm driving home, it mixes it up. And I like to actually run my engine. You got to get that stabilizer in the fuel in your engine. Oh, and another tip, at least the last tank of fuel that you put in your boat, I think it's really nice if you can find non-ethanol fuel to put non-ethanol fuel in it. That ethanol really messes things up, especially for storage. So I filled this tank up with non-ethanol fuel, and I put the stabilizer in it, and I actually already ran my engine a little bit. But the next step after this, if you didn't run your engine, you're going to have to run your engine to change your oil. I recommend changing your oil right at the end of the year, so this boat can sit in storage for however long you're going to have it stored up and have nice fresh oil in that motor. Now I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video, but if you do need to watch a video on that, I'll put a link to that either down in the description or right at the end of this video. All right, now you got your fuel tank completely full, stabilizer in it, and the stabilizer and the fuel is run through your engine. And like I said, the next step would be changing your oil. I'm not going to show you that in this video, but if you have to watch that video, watch that video. All right, next step is I'm going to fog my engine. Now we have to fog the engine before we unhook the batteries, because when I fog my engine, I want to turn it over, lubricate the cylinder walls with this fogging oil. First thing I'm going to do is take this cowling off. With my Mercury, I just got to pull this. There's a little latch right here. I pull out, it comes up. Then make sure you don't drop this because it's really expensive. Set that aside. Now on my engine, I have 4 spark plugs. I got one here, one here, one here, and one down in here. It's a little bit hard to see. Now, if you're going to do this fogging of your engine, you're going to need a spark plug socket. On this 65 Jet, it takes a 5/8 inch spark plug socket. Unhook all the spark plugs. Just pull that out. Now, there's a number on there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you put them on in the correct order when you put them back on. There's 3. This 4th one is a little tricky. Way down in here. There we go. I also am probably going to use my torque wrench and torque these back on so I don't over tighten them. They are torqued on at, these are going to get torqued back on at 20 foot-pounds. So let me take these all off. They shouldn't be really super tight. I'm just going to loosen them all up, and then I'll take them out. There's 2, 3. This bottom one's a little trickier. There's 4. And when you get these out, you could also kind of look at your spark plugs, see if they look bad. If they're starting to get really dark and bad, you might want to replace them. If they've been in there for a few years, you might want to replace them. Pull this one out. I'm just going to take them off with my drill, but you cannot put them on with this. Speed this up a little. There we go. Now I'm going to take some of this fogging oil and I'm going to put it inside each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to put about 6 to 10 seconds of this fogging oil in each one. 2. All right, there's a trick. If you can't find that hole and it's anything like mine, I just put my camera on video and I turn the light on and I can stick it down in there and I can find where that hole's at. At least that's how I did it. And all right, that's good. All right, real quick, if you do not know how to turn your light on with your video recording, I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So I'm going to hit video. Now this is an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, or if you have something different, I'm not really sure how to do it. But on an iPhone, I'm just going to hit video. Now I'm on video. Now I just swipe up right here. Hit this little Thunderbolt looking thing and click on. Now the light is on and it stays on. So just about a good 5 to 10 seconds in each cylinder there. Now with the spark plugs out, I'm just going to turn the engine over a couple times. That way the cylinders will move and lubricate all them walls. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to put the spark plugs back in and that part's all done. Make sure you start them by hand. One. I'm putting them back in the same order they came out. I don't think that really matters, but I'm just kind of picky. 2. Make sure you got them in there. You don't want to strip these threads out. All right, this last one's gonna be fun, super fun. You kind of look in here. If you have one like mine and this is kind of in the way, you can kind of look at these and see what angle you're at. So you have this bottom one at the same angle. Kind of tricky to get started. Let me know if you was able to get that fourth one down there easy. This is kind of a pain in the butt. I apologize if I don't have any real good tips to how to get that in there, but just make sure you got it started by hand first. Now I am going to torque these on to the 20 foot-pounds. That's it. All right, that's it. Now I can just plug them all back in. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Video camera trick kind of works nice because I can really helps to see. All right, they're all plugged in. That's all with that. Now I can put my cover back on. Go. That's that. All right, I got this engine tilted up a little, and I'm going to grease all these different little zerk fittings that I don't grease all year long. This one down here, this one you should be greasing every time you pull your boat out of the water. All right, so we got 1. I'm going to grease this zerk fitting here. 2. There's 3, and there's 1 back here, right here in the middle. 4. I'm just using the same grease that I used for that. I'll put some of this stuff down in the description, like I said. Just put a few squirts in there. That's good. There's 1. Grease this one up. Oh, 2. Now you can see that shoot out right there, so that's good. Get off there, it's a pain. Don't pull by the hose because you'll break your hose. There's 2. And then I'm going to do this one back here. You might, when I do that, you might see some grease come out from here or on the other side. Let's see if I don't know if you'll see anything or not. Pretty simple. Normally I would do it on the other side, but try to show you guys. Oh, there, I see grease coming out right there. So I think I'm going to call that good. And then, And I got to do this one down here all the way at the bottom. Pull that hose out. Try to pull it by the metal though. Don't pull it by the hose. You don't want to break that. Now grease should come out of this hose. And that way you'll be pushing any of the, if you have any water in there. Hold that there. See that grease? I did this last time I went on the water, so do a little extra. Go. Try to wipe all this up. Clean this up a little bit. Plug that hose back in. That, you don't want to leave that unplugged or unhooked. Turn that a little bit. Work some of that grease in there. Looks good. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook my batteries, and then I'm going to leave them here in my garage. Make sure they are fully charged, and I'll let them stay here in my garage. My garage doesn't get that cold. Now you may want to also, some people out there will put them on a trickle charger, or you could leave them completely hooked up if you want and just have it trickle charger hooked up all winter. It's up to you. Me, I'm going to unhook them, make sure they're 100% fully charged, and just let them sit here in my garage. Just make sure either you take a picture or make a little drawing so you know how to connect everything back up, because some of these fishing boats have a lot of wires connected to their batteries. Like I have my trolling motor, and my fish finder, and I have my engine. I have my little puck for my GPS on my Minn Kota Ultrex trolling motor. Now I have a positive wire here, and then I have the negative and positive connected together in the center. My negative wire all the way on the left, and then I have a black and red for my charger. Pretty simple back here. Now, how many of you guys actually have your batteries up closer to the front of your boat? I did this because of this being a jet boat, and sometimes I'm running in 6, 8, 12 inches of water, so that's why they're up here. Like that. There. Whoa, don't lose your nuts. Don't lose your nuts. That sounds great. I also have a video on how I connected all these batteries in my trolling motor and that fish finder up. That's it. So I'm going to put these nuts back on so I don't lose them. Pull these out. That's it. I'm going to leave this open because that was going to be one of my last steps. I'll tell you, I'm going to leave this open, and I'm going to stick a fan in here and try to cover some of this up and try to blow air through this thing to somewhat dry this out for at least a day. All right, let me unhook my back battery. All right, I got all my positives off. I'm going to put that nut back on that side. Be careful you don't lose your nuts down here. Negative. 3 wires on the positive, and 1, 2, 3 hooked up to the negative. All right, this should come out now. There we go. All right, this is what I did back here in the back. I just taped all my positives together. I taped all my negatives together. Because I have this extra wire. This goes to the front of my boat, and I don't want to connect that. Nothing's hooked to it. It's just there in case I ever need it. So if that is something you might want to do, and you could write negative on it if you want, but I know the red is for positive, black is for negative. So then you could maybe get in here and try to soak up some of this water that might be in here with an old rag or something if you want. All right, now I have one of my front compartments opened up, and I just covered the rest of it because it's a big. It has a big door on it, so I covered the rest with like a piece of plywood or OSB. And I'm just going to blow this fan in here for like a good day, day and a half, hoping that helps dry the inside of my boat out a little bit. Now I left that back compartment open, back where my engine's at. If you have other compartments that are somewhat kind of connected together on your boat, just open them all up, see if you can get your boat to dry out a little bit. I don't know how much this really helps, but I think it's got to help some. So But I'm gonna let this go for a day, day and a half, and then I'm gonna cover my boat, and it should be good to go for storage or for the rest of the winter. Me, I did unhook my fish finder. You guys can leave yours in if you want, whatever if it's stored in a garage, maybe you wanna leave yours in, but mine's outside, so I'm taking my fish finder off. All right, my boat's been sitting for about a day. I think it's as dry as it's gonna get, so I'm gonna close all my compartments back up and put the cover on and let it sit for the winter. And I also got all 3 of my batteries fully charged. That's why I like this charger. It shows me when I'm at 100%. That's all I do for my batteries. I'll put these on right here on my workbench and just stick it on one of the shelves, and I let them sit there all winter after they're fully charged. My live wells are all dried out. I got all my fishing poles put away. Oh, and I did take my windshield off just because my cover does go on better. I mean, you do what you want to do. I did put my plug, this is the plug that goes into the back of my fish finder. I did put that in a bag. All right, I hope this video helped you out. Thanks for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button to help support my channel. God bless and happy fishing. And one last thing is, if you have winterized or got your boat ready for storage, is there anything you do different out there? Let me know down in the comments. This one goes in the front.
Yeah.